In this video I'm going to talk about indices. What do we mean by indices? Well, in algebra we often choose to shorten things or simplify, so I might write, instead of a plus a plus a, I might write 3a. That's called simplifying. And likewise, if I was to write a times a times a, I would write a to the power 3. Now there are certain rules of indices that you can use which are nice and handy. The first one is the following: if you have some number a to some power x multiplied by the same base a to another power y, then you can simplify that to a to the power a plus y. Let's take an example. So I've got 2 to the power 2 times 2 to the power 3. Well, all of that together is just 2 to the power 2 add 3, which is 2 to the power 5. Or I could have had x to the power 3 multiplied by x to the power minus 4. Well, that would be x to the 3 add minus 4, which is x to the minus 1. Another rule of indices is a to the x, a to the power x divided by that same base a to the power y. You have divided by sign here instead of the multiply, and that simplifies to a to the x minus y. And in the Swedish curriculum you don't have to remember these, you get these in your formula booklet. So let's take an example of that. So let's say we had 2 to the power 2 divided by 2 to the power 3. Well, that would be 2 to the power 2 minus 3, which is 2 to the minus 1. Take another example. Y to the power 4 divided by y to the power 2 is y to the power 4 minus 2, which equals y to the 2, or y squared. Finally, the other rule of indices is a to the power x all raised to the power y. That simplifies to a to the x multiplied by y. So you might have 2 to the power 4 all to the power 4. That becomes 2 to the 4 multiplied by 4, which is 2 to the power 16. Here are some other special cases to remember. If I have some number raised to the power 0, it's always 1. X to the power 0 equals 1. 2 to the power 0 equals 1. And so on. Any number raised to the power 0 is always 1. If I have a number raised to a negative power, that's the same as writing that as 1 divided by that number to its positive power. So for example, 2 to the negative 1 is the same as 1 divided by 2 to the 1, which is just a half. X to the negative 3 is the same as 1 upon x to the power 3, which is just the same way of writing this thing here. If I have two numbers or variables, both raised to the same power, I could actually split this up and multiply. When I remove the brackets, this becomes a to the power x multiplied by b to the power x. So let's take an example. If I had xy to the power 3, that would be x to the power 3 times y to the power 3. Similarly, if I had a quotient a divided by b, all raised to the power x, that simplifies to a to the power x divided by b to the power x. So let's take, as an example, x over y to the power 4, that's x to the power 4 divided by y to the power 4.